Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Growing Up Paranormal, my paranormal vlogs. So, yesterday, I can't forget. This is my co-host. He's joining us again. Did anybody think of a name for him? What should I call him? Bones. I think that's pretty obvious. I'm just gonna call him Bones. Hi, Bones. Hi, Bones. So that's what I'm gonna call him. My husband's laughing at me.
Boner.
No, I'm not gonna call him Boner. I'm sure you heard him. Nope, not call. He doesn't have a bottom half, so I can't call him Boner.
That's
I'm calling. Okay, people, that's enough of that. It's great. I'm calling him Bones. Now I'm not going to be able to look at this skeleton anymore. Half skeleton is better than none. Okay, so he's not approving. Bones does not approve. Okay, so yesterday I told you basically the start of how it happened. How I was pretty much aware as a baby, pretty much aware as a kid, and how I heard voices and people calling me or whatever it was. It wasn't people, it was beings, you know, disembodied voices, if you will, calling me and, you know, and hearing music and, basically mimicking voices of my family members and calling me all the time and music and all that stuff. So today I'm going to tell you of some incidences. So, okay, so now you had all that going on and you had the voices and the music and that weird stuff. One time, now I would tell my sisters all this and, you know, at the time I didn't know they were experiencing anything. Now my one sister said she had similarities to certain things she heard and saw, and my other two always denied it. But later on, my other second oldest said something. The one that was only 5 years older than me said she knew a little more than she, you know, copped to me back in the day, because she didn't want to be known as crazy, so just leave that on me, being that I was the youngest. And my second oldest sister really didn't say much, but every now and then she would say this happened and that happened. My oldest one said nothing, and now I know they all had experiences. They could have saved me a lot of aggravation. Was I ever frustrated? Now you got to keep in mind, back in the day, and this is back in the day, yes, late 70s, well, mid 70s, the 70s, through the 80s, some of the 80s, not because then I got older and it kind of slowed down. I think once you reach puberty it stops, but other things carried on. So now what happened was there was a lot of besides a lot of the voices and the music, other things would happen. And I had dolls. Now, I preferred my stuffed animal over dolls. Now, Barbie dolls were okay. I know it's going to sound crazy. And I want to know in the comments if any of you... Now, keep in mind, I approve comments, because I know you trolls, you haters are out there, and I'm not taking that. I approve, and then I delete. So, you know, you be nice, play nice. I'm nice to everybody. We're having fun here. No religious trolls telling me I'm talking to demons, alright, because I don't want to deal with that. I've already had that with my father, so I'm not. Yeah, Bones doesn't like it either. You're welcome to stay. Just have fun. Okay, so now getting back. Now, not the Barbie dolls. The Barbie dolls were fine. Stuffed animals were fine. But regular dolls, they were not fine. I had one or two dolls that were safe, and what I'm getting at is, at night, when everybody was asleep, sometimes even in the day, but I guess at night you notice it more because you're just laying there in bed looking at them. And I had a lot of dolls because all my cousins and my sisters, you know, I was the youngest, so everybody handed everything down to me. So like I had a room full of freaking dolls that scared the crap out of me all the time. And they're all like staring at me, you know, all those weird dolls from the 50s and those porcelain dolls with the eyes that popped open and shut and all that. Anyway, so they're like dressed in brides gowns and all this weird, lot of dolls. And so they were all lined up to one side of my room. And then my bed was over here. And in the night, I can hear them whispering. Like that. You can hear it. Really a lot. Yeah, a lot. See? Bones knows. So I can hear whispering and like with the weird. You could never make out what they were saying. You could just hear it. It was a very low, and they would move, not like this, and they would move so slow, like a I can't even like very slow per second, like that you wouldn't notice it if you just glanced, but if you're just staring, and I know you're gonna say it's a trick of the eye, no, tested that theory a million times when I was little, and you would just see it like I can't, and you can see their mouths kind of moving, and sometimes their eyes like opening and closing or going, but it would happen very slowly because remember, time is non-existent really for other beings. So I guess time didn't affect them. So to us it would look really slow, and to them it would probably be a normal function. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Sounds good, right, Bones? Sounds good to Bones. So they would do this weird whispery thing and move really slow. So naturally I had to be like, this is what happens, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling everybody in my family, and again, my father's. So we had the priest come over every Sunday for dinner, Roman Catholic family. The priest would come over for dinner, and I'd have to be blessed. He would bless the house. I think he was trying to do an exorcism on me. I don't know. My father built an altar room downstairs. It used to be an office, then a playroom, then an office. Then all of a sudden, he turned it into an altar room. So where was I? I had to make a little stop for a minute. I needed some drink. Too much yapping. So, now with the dolls, they would move around and they would be really creepy as to how slow they were moving. So you really wouldn't catch it because it was extremely slow. So you had to like look at it. And you could hear this. Now, of course, like I said, telling everybody, they wouldn't believe you. They would think, oh, you're a kid, so you're making it up. You're lying. You have a wild imagination. Your friends would just be like, sure, stuff like that. So one time I had one of my friends sleep over. She used to live diagonal from me, and I had her stay over. Now, I wonder about this. I said, those dolls, they're at night, they move around really slow, and you'll hear them whisper, and I don't know what else you can hear because I don't know if that's just me that can hear the music and everything else. So, because by now I have told all my friends, so pretty much everybody thought I was crazy. And not many people wanted to stay at my house once they've experienced things, but also I had a big 5-floor house, and not many people had a big enough house back in those days. They had the usual ranch or 2-story, maybe even a 3-story, but not a 5-story. And my parents were from Italy, so they had a lot of antique looking furniture from Italy, and if you know what that looks like, they had it everywhere. So, and then with the damask wallpaper, and so I guess it looked, it was nice. People complimented, they loved the house, but it was just, for a kid, you'd be like, ooh, that's spooky, because you had the formal dining room and the formal living room with big fancy antique Italian furniture and all that. So, plus it was a big house, and most of those kids weren't used to it. And my father didn't like to have all the lights on everywhere. like just where he was hanging out. Matter of fact, he would yell at all of us and say, "You kids, shut those lights off." You know, costs electricity, costs money, and um, so that was the thing. Matter of fact, he used to sneak in the room and try to shut my nightlight off. It used to be right by the door, and I'd see his hand come in and go click, and I'd wait for him to walk away, and I'd click it back on. Because if I didn't have a nightlight in the pitch dark, I could actually see entities forming. So I didn't like pitch dark. To this day, I still have light. I don't have a nightlight in the bedroom, but I have lights outside. And I know my husband doesn't like that. He wants to be in the dark. I'm like, now I know they're not going to come and get me. I just don't want to actually see them when I'm sleeping. So because I guess see into the other dimension or whatever. I'm not really sure what that is, but you know. So with the dolls, back to that. So they would be moving around, and Bones is listening. Such a good co-host. So they would be moving around and whispering, and I would tell my friend, before she slipped over, this is what happened. So she slipped over. She had the floor at the bed, and the dolls were over there against the wall. And I guess it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, when you stay up when you have friends sleep over and stuff. And so we were just talking and chit-chatting, doing our usual kid thing. And I was telling her scary stuff and telling her my life, which is scary stuff. And all of a sudden, I guess we were getting drowsy, about to go to bed. And then she calls me and she taps me and she's like, "Dolls, you're right. They're moving. I saw them move. I saw them move." And then I'm like, "Yeah, I told you." And then she saw it again. And then she can hear them whisper. She goes, "I can hear them. I want to go home." And then she starts crying and she's carrying on. So now I had to get my parents. And keep in mind, it's like 3 in the morning here. So she wanted to go home. And she was crying like a little baby. I mean, we were kids, but so my mother had to walk her across back, like diagonal, basically across the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she never slept over my house again. It's true. It sucked. I didn't have many sleepovers because of that, and she never wanted to stay over. She never even came over anymore, not to come in my pool, maybe to play in my backyard. But that was it. I had to go over her house. I had to sleep over her house. It was not going to happen in my house anymore. So I think that was the tip-off. Now I've had a witness. And so it was known that there was actual things going on. So I think by now my family was believing me. And I think by now it was pretty apparent I wasn't making it up, that it was really going on, and that these things were real. And so I need a drink. So these things were real, and these things were really going on, and I wasn't wasn't some crazy kid with a wild imagination. And I think I had a couple of other friends here and there stay over, which again, they never stayed over again, except for my one friend Michelle, who I'm still friends with since I was a kid. And she saw it, so she knew I wasn't lying. But and that was much later. I think I was like 11 by then, and I didn't have many dolls. You kind of outgrow them, but little by little I gave away a lot of them, and there was only like 1 or 2 dolls that were okay. The stuffed animals were fine, the Barbie dolls were fine, but my regular dolls and all those older dolls that were hand-me-downs from my sisters and my cousins and neighbors, they were all creepy. I don't know what was going on, but I think spirits can possess a doll. I don't know. And they were whispering and moving very slowly. See them very slowly, and I can't explain. It was just extremely slow the way they moved, but they were moving, and it wasn't a trick of the eye. So one time, I was really little, And my sister had a new boyfriend. I guess they were engaged. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. Like I said, I was a kid. Yeah, I was young. And let's see. So he was going to sleep over because he was coming from Pennsylvania at a college, and he wasn't allowed to sleep upstairs with my sister, no, my parents in the house. So I was going to sleep upstairs with my sister, and he was going to take my room. So uh, he got to take my room, and I remember before he was going into bed, the bedroom to go sleep, I said, just be careful of the dolls, you know? And he's like, he knew about it because, like, my sister told him, and I had told him many times about all the voices and music and all that, the people mimicking, I mean, the entities mimicking voices of my family members. And I told him all of that, and he was fascinated. And he loved kids, so he was always so nice to me. And I remember him saying, oh, okay, I'll remember about those dolls, you know, not believing it, obviously. And so he was in there, and then I remember in the morning, his face looked like white as a sheet. And I heard him. He didn't know I was coming down the stairs. He didn't know I was there. And he was in the kitchen having coffee, and I heard him tell my sister and my mother, saying, you know, your sister, she isn't making this up. She isn't lying. She isn't crazy. He's like, it really happened. He goes, I saw it and I heard it. And that's why he ended up leaving my room, and he went downstairs in the third, like the third floor. We had the big foyer, we had the kitchen, we had where we ate with the fireplace and everything, and then we had a little family room in there, and then on the other side was the formal dining room, formal living room. So he went into the family room off of the kitchen, and he went to lay down on the couch, and he went to sleep there because he was too freaked out. And because that's where my mother found him in the morning, because I can hear them talking. And so then later so I made my appearance, and I was like, see, I told you. I was vindicated, you know. It felt great to be vindicated, because when you're a little kid, no one's going to believe you, and it sucks. So I was like, yes, I told you, I was telling the truth. It's frustrating when nobody believes you, and you are 100% telling the truth. And he's like, well, yeah, you know, believe this kid. That's what he said. She's telling the truth, right? And he said that's what happened. He saw, you know, at first he was laughing and he didn't make much of it. And he was laying there, and then he thought he heard whispers. And then it got louder and louder. I mean, not extremely loud. They kept it at a certain level, but you can hear it. Yeah, just like that. And then the movement, and he saw it moving, and I was just waving to my husband. And so at least someone, an adult, not just another friend, kid, you know, an adult. So then I think my other sister had her boyfriend stay over and got my room again, because nobody wants other people in their room because they were all adults on the little kids, so I had to give up my room. And so they would get my room, and I remember I always used to tell them, don't leave toenails in my bed. I don't know, I had to think about toenails. I just didn't want creepy old guys' toenails. And they weren't old, they were probably in their teens and 20s, but to me that was disgusting. They're in my bed with their toes. I'm like, just wear your socks. And I know that's funny. But um, okay, I'll stop. It's just funny to me. But so they were in the room, and they got to see it. They got to see it, and they got to hear it, and I was happy. Now I think some of them actually heard some of the music and the chitter chatter and the clanking, and they're like, because I thought I remember hearing my one sister's boyfriend my other sister, not the one that slipped in my room that one time, but another one. And with my other sister that was 5 years younger than me, I mean 5 years older than me, as I was the youngest, she had her boyfriend staying in the room because we were all partying at the house. I don't know what holiday. It was probably the holiday season or something like that. And, you know, he'd been drinking, so my mother didn't want him to drive, so go ahead, sleep, but you cannot sleep. My father was like, you sleep in that room. So he slept in my room, and he says he wasn't drunk, but then he sobered up, and he heard it, and he saw the dolls moving and whispering. And so, yeah, I wasn't crazy, but a lot of those dolls were given away. My father had a habit of taking all my toys, anything, and just giving it away. He worked in the city, and there was a lot of inner city kids and in the projects and stuff, and he felt bad for them because they didn't have a lot. And sometimes he would pay their bills and give them food and, you know, bring them stuff, and he would bring them my toys. You know, he's like, well, you don't need it anymore, you're big enough. And so he would bring that to them. So now I'm saying, uh-oh, I just hope, you know, were those dolls doing the same thing? I mean, were they? Right, Bones? I mean, I don't know. So, okay, so that's the second, so this is my second paranormal, growing up paranormal vlog, and I will get to the third one another night. I'm going to, again, remember, I'm going to try to do a live once I can figure. I'd like to do it with this OBS because I like the spooky little video thing in the background, and I like to have fun. These are serious. This was serious to me when this was all happening, and you know, but I'm making light of it and having fun with it because too many people are serious these days, and I like to laugh. So I have no problem with being silly. I like to have fun. I do my DIY crafts and tutorials, my jewelry tutorials, my reviews, and I'll still be doing all that. And I just figured I'd add this little feature. Also, I do water scrying. There are 2 videos, not in this playlist, but in my odd things, nature, and other playlist. You will see I made 2 videos of pictures I've got of spirits and water scrying. And in one of these growing up paranormal vlogs, I will feature a tutorial on water scrying and how you can do it too, and what you need to do to protect yourself before you attempt it yourself. Because it's not for everybody, and I don't think everybody should. And like I said, I don't conjure up demons, I don't worship Satan, I don't speak to demons and stuff of that nature. It's nothing like that. I do, however, speak to entities and spirits, and they speak back and I record them, and I've been able to do that, like I said, all my life. Except recording, I never thought to do that, and now, if I would have only thought of that when I was younger, but like I said, the recorders, we have these big giant recorders back in the day when I was little, so that would have been annoying, you know. Cassettes, probably like the ones that people use back in the day, but now we have different methods, so I just record them on my computer, which is a lot easier. So maybe if I can figure out how to get some of those recordings loud enough and clear enough to put them on video, I'll do that too. But for now, I'm still working on trying to go live with both the OBS, the system where you see my spooky background. If I cannot go live with this, I will try to go live with YouTube, but I have to wait for the okay for YouTube, so, you know. Also, because I do have a donation link, and my donation link is because I do a lot of craft tutorials and DIY tutorials for jewelry, and that enables me, if you donate, that enables me to go get the products to create these things. And when I can do that, I can do giveaways. Now, I did a lot of giveaways with my DIY crafts in the summer, and I was able to do that, but you know, it's costly. It's out of my pocket when I buy the products, and then I have to go to the post office and I pay for shipping. So again, it's out of my pocket and it costs money. So The donations help with that, and donations help with me to get better equipment so that I can bring you better quality videos. So that's really why I asked for them. They're greatly appreciated. But you know, if you can't, please at least subscribe to my channel, click the bell for future notifications, and keep checking back because sometimes you don't get a notification even though you click the bell. As well as please like and share my videos because the more views you can help me in that way too. And comment, even if it's just to say hello, tell me what you liked about the video, you know, just say hello. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this second episode of Growing Up Paranormal, my paranormal vlogs, and I will continue another night with another episode of Growing Up Paranormal, my paranormal vlogs. So have a good night and watch out for those dolls. Right? Right, Bones? Bones says watch out. Watch out. Yeah. I know, right? Bye.